Well, hello there, fellow tappers. Sly Fox here with you. My first Let's Play. And I thought, why not do my own missions? Kind of like, when you buy the DVD, you get the director's commentary. Well, that's what you're going to get here, like it or not. So, here we go. A Lazarus video production. Laz is obviously the man. And, so we sit back and, whoa, yeah, look at that. Isn't that all fancy schmancy? Fancy, fancy schmancy. People saw this video and thought, hey, we're looking forward to this mission, and then they played it. And anyway, okay, and of course the flame wall text and some quotes I came up with, the pants about. I was supposed to be Garrett as a youngin' there. Revenge is the dish best served cold. I don't know if that's the Italians or the precursors or the Klingons came up with that one. I don't know. And never put off till tomorrow. Who you can kill today? Garrett, Master Thief.
His name is Cooper Bartlett. He dabbles in the underground economy, gambling, prostitution, and a little spice. Or so Basso says. A few weeks ago, I got word through Basso that Bartlett wanted a little thieving done for a handsome sum. I was to contact an agent of Bartlett's, a man named Fletcher, at the crippled Burrick. Fletcher had all the information about the job and half my payment, 3,000 gold. I didn't like the look of this Fletcher, and I tailed him a few times after our initial meeting. I also didn't like the look of the people he kept talking to. I was beginning to get that feeling.
Yeah, that feeling, man. Garrett always has that feeling.
Nothing I can't handle if I'm careful.
Yeah, that's right, big guy. You're
the job
tough.
Went off without a hitch.
You go get him.
But as I trailed Fletcher to the dock to make the exchange, I watched and listened as he picked up some extra muscle along the way. A ruthless thug by the name of Tommy. Needless to say, I didn't show. I don't know if killing me was Fletcher's idea or if he was just following orders. I don't really care. Fletcher is going to pay. No sense in waiting. It's time to begin.
Yep, and it's time to begin. Taking care of Fletcher will be a whole lot easier if you get your weapons back. So you got to go down to the smith shop and get your weapons locker key. Kill Fletcher, pick up some cash, investigate this Bartlett guy, the gang of thieves, the Order of the Dragon thing. It was sort of like just a little side quest thing. Probably the most interesting thing about the mission. Was the side quest thing tacked on just to give you guys a little more to do. And of course, after the laundry list is complete, you're sure to be hungry. Go home and grab a bite to eat. You'll have earned it. And we'll get to a little more about that last objective right there when we enter Garrett's apartment here in just a second. Okay. Now things look a little washed out video-wise to everything comes out really dark, so what I did was relight the mission, jacking up the ambient light level a bit, so it tends to make the lighter areas washed out, but it's a compromise because I don't feel like having to run this thing through another editor just to brighten it and whatnot. So anyway, this is the end room. This is where you'll come to end the mission, and your apples on the table were originally there because I could not figure out, or I just didn't know how to create an end room to make the final objective tick off, but I could tie the final objective to crunching an apple. So, say go home, get something to eat, bam, that would end the mission. So if you run in here quickly enough, you can still pick an apple up and eat it before you get the da-dum-da, for the mission complete thing. But, because in order to make the go here objectives or whatever, you got to create a room around this whole space. It's called a room brush. Room brush, and you can't see the thing. And then you got to link it to this, and it's just this whole Rube Goldberg thing. And this was my first mission, and I had no idea what I was doing. So any simple way that I could get anything done, I just usually, if it worked, I usually said, screw it, that's good enough, and I left it that way. Like here, like this, you got, torches on the wall. That's what's in the, I'm pointing right now. You can't see me point, so I have to lean here. I'm stupid. I've never done a Let's Play before. But there's actually torches down there instead of, a proper flame or something like that. So, again, just bam, there you go. I wanted some fire there. I put a torch in there, and it's done. So, And here's Garrett's apartment. It's a little shower stall, you know, back here. And, you know, of course, you did a bedroom. It's not a very big bed. I don't think Garrett gets laid much. And, you know, his weapons locker is there. Of course, we don't have the key to that now. And there's a chest, just probably has something valuable in it, but you don't need to steal from yourself. I always wanted to give Garrett a nice place to live for my first mission. At least I thought about that when I was thinking about what am I going to do for my first mission. So I wanted to give him, you know, something that looked decent instead of just a filthy hole in the wall. And I also wanted it to be very secluded. So you'll see here in a second, if you haven't played the mission, of course, I guess most anybody who would give a crap about it has played it by now. But see, there we go. And there's the switch to close his door. Of course, the texture match is terrible. I mean, that door sticks out like a sore thumb. Whatever. And there's a vine here you can climb to get over the wall. The vine was kind of difficult to see. I apologize for that. People got out there right away and went, I can't get over the damn wall. Well, yeah, that was my fault. So there's another vine here that you can use to get back over. And of course, these little mushrooms here you can grab too, and that way it makes this a nice little dark spot to come and hide. And back in here, it's just a room with no purpose. Oh, there's the basketball. I thought I had put a basketball in here, so, you know, just for the heck of it. So anyway, that room has no real purpose other than to maybe stash bodies. But so here we are out into sort of the real world and the mission proper. And here's a little note that I left to the player. Here it is, my first FM. Enjoy and explore. Now go find Jocko's shop. It's west down the Long Orange Path. And basically, I just wanted to tell you where Jocko's shop was, since Garrett would know this, but there's no map. So anyway, we go down the pathway. And here we go. Yeah, Glowing Mushroom Inn. Good drink, good food, good friends, good times. Ask Susie about our daily specials. No one under 21. No chandelier swinging. That's right, B.A. I'm looking at you. If you want to act like that, try the Crippled Burrick. Of course, that's where real taffers hang out, the Crippled Burrick. And we'll find that later. Okay, now this is one of my first attempts at doing something clever. Since there's a guard right here, you got to wait for that light to dim and to get across there without being seen. So that was, you know, ooh, look at me, I'm being all drama clever and stuff, you know. And whoa, truck going by, man. Homie in his subwoofers. So anyway, this is Jocko Smith's shop, and I like to go in through the upper entrance. Besides, there's something right inside here that comes in handy. There we go. That rope arrow will come in handy later. We'll see why. And here's Jocko's room. Not sure why he has 2 bunk beds. Again, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. And there's a key that I'm supposed to pick up. Ah, a note. Boy, we might want to read that. Jay, there's been a bit of a mix-up with your key. Captain Dusty of the City Watch had requested another key to the door on the local watch office. I made both keys today, and I got the 2 mixed up and gave him yours by mistake. Your new key is probably in the captain's safe by now. That's when Garrett goes, oh, really? Here's the real watch office key. It would be really help me out if you could make the swap for me. Captain Dusty can be a real Fargan Taffer sometimes, and I'd just as soon not to have him find out that I screwed up. Sorry for all the trouble, Jay. Okay, so now you're like, oh, great. Now I got to go to the watch office. All right, better go out this window. But if I get this crate just right. Yeah. How silent am I? Oh, anyway. I don't always just talk like Garrett as I'm playing, but in there is a mechanist, and I don't think there's even a note in here about the power grid or something. So he's watching it, and that sort of explains why that light that we had to sneak past, you know, the light that was going up and down. Yes, Dave, yeah, Chief, yeah, repairs to main wheel assembly, power running smoothly, current draw low for today. Officer Benny buggered his sword in the works, lucky nothing broken. Okay, minor fluctuations due to a faulty transformer in North Dayport. No loss of service, however, there have been more than a few surges and brownouts. Things are getting worse. Those taffers and then blah, blah, blah. So you can read all that if you like. But that kind of explains why there's a light going wonky. And there's something else in here, but we can't get in that door because We don't have our lockpicks yet. So we down the thing, and we wait for the light.
Is someone there?
Very good.
Nothing. I'm too tense.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, don't want to get spotted by any of these tiny little pottery figures. But I've got to get in the watch office, and that's right in front of me. And we're a quick save here. Yeah. Oh.
Not again.
Yeah, again, man. Okay, do I have enough?
Oh, well.
Oh, screw it. Probably have enough time. Okay, yeah. So get that mushroom, now I can hang up here without anybody seeing me. Now see if I can land on the chimney. Come on. Yeah. There we go. So far, so good. Now I gotta get down this chimney. If I can plant this rope arrow without alerting everybody.
What?
Don't worry. Must have been rats. Just a big rat. And down the thing. Careful not to burn your little tootsies. Shoot. Okay, they could be coming down here any second, so I'm just going to speed things up.
Come back here and fight.
The key's in here. And here, let me hit this book here just to pause. The key to that to the weapons, or to your weapons locker you just picked up. I didn't know how to implement the objective to have you put Jocko's key in there and, you know, save him from, you know, having any trouble or whatever. You can put the key in there if you like, and I usually do. But it's not an official objective because I didn't know how to make a drop things here objective, which is another thing where you take a little room brush and you make a tiny little brush, and then you know, as long as you put it in the confines of that, and then you link it to some other QVAR trap via some convoluted blah 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 blah, and then it makes another objective. So these are kind of things I wish I'd have done for this mission, but I just didn't know how at the time. I had no clue. So. And so I'd better get out of here before they find me, because that's him clomping around the first floor of the watch office. So here we go. So now I don't even care if they do see me, because I'll just run back to my flat and they'll never catch me. So there's my key. So we go back home. There's a vine there. Come on. There we go. So I go back home. Okay. And here we are. Back at our weapons locker. Now this is the big moment, the big reveal, you know, because I always thought Garrett should have a really good toy closet. And I'm sorry, but, you know, this is just the best toy closet in any fan mission. This fan mission doesn't have a whole lot going for it compared to the good stuff that, you know, the heavies make, but I made a toy closet from hell. Lockpick, sword, invisibility potion, and I stocked it with so much stuff in here. You really don't need all this stuff, but hey, what the heck. Another scouting orb, a couple of gas arrows. Ah, darn it, man. You'd have to go out and steal all night to afford all those toys. So anyway, back out of the flat and on to business. Okay, we'll go kill Fletcher first. Okay, there's that guy. I know he'll turn. And I know I did a bit of this Let's Play earlier that you're not going to see because the video just turned out really crappy, but there's a guy in the corner back there, and I'd forgotten about him the first time I came through here. So you gotta move slowly. See, that's pretty tricky. I placed him right there. And I'll just dispatch all these guys with the blackjack so we can save a little time. Come on, dude. Turn. There we go. Get you, yeah. This guy gets alerted. Let me see what we get. Yeah.
You can't hide for long.
Oh, I can hide all day long, dude.
Hold still. This won't hurt much.
Yeah.
All right. Stop.
Yeah. So anyway. I don't think anybody will wander along and find him, but... So anyway, this area right here, I remember now, this was the first airbrush of the mission. So the whole mission grew from this bit right here. And it took me a while to build this. You know, I got the little trim going around the top there, and this little trim going around the arch, and placed a few objects, placed a light, put a couple of guards, some boxes and that stuff. So, you know, learning how to use the object hierarchy and create and place things in the world. So this is where it all started. And down here is our favorite tavern hangout, the Crippled Burrick Inn. 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. Taver's welcome. Bishop's finger, monk's member, proudly served. Feel free to pinch the barmaids. S. Fox, proprietor. So there we go. More name dropping. Of course, that's a thing. I usually put some kind of S. Fox into just about every one of my missions at some point. So he's like my alter ego. Now this, I really wanted this to be better than it is. I mean, it's not a bad little room, especially for a newbie to build. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to fill the bar with just drunken, passed out people, and you know, and name everybody. And so you pick up everybody, and it'd be like, you know, this would be Yandros, this would be Arsol, this would be Nightwalker. You know, so in other words, everybody was just passed out drunk in the thing. I was going to put BA up there, you know, in the chandelier, Broken Arts, you know, the chandelier swinger. But I just didn't know how to do that. And ooh, there's a loose bottle of wine on the floor. And a couple of fires. And around here, I think we got, yeah, okay, 1001 drinking songs. Bartender's Bible, just silly stuff like that. There's some loot underneath here. We can now. So hey, we're almost 10% of the way there. And then back here was the office, and I used one of these. I don't even know why I use that Mechanist door. I always, it's just the Mechanist stuff is just so tacky. That Art Deco kind of, I don't know if that's what you call it. It's just, ugh, their colors, the textures, everything is just tacky and awful. So, and then I know there's a secret passage here. Because it doesn't blend so well with the floor. It'd stick out like a sore thumb, but you put boxes on it, and then, the switch is up here. And we'll take that in a moment. And we got unpaid bar tab. So this is just a, I just threw it in here just a reference. You know, the people from the forum. Captain Dusty, of course, Dusty, the Black Man, Dead Man, Hammer Brother Luthien, Mr. Kent's, which is Shawa, whatever, however he pronounces his name, guy who did Left 4 Dead, the most excellent fan mission. And just as an aside, I did the Garrett voice for that mission, and Garrett was supposedly left for dead because he wakes up in a grave, you know, with his head for a scouting orb and his, you know, his skeleton fingers for lockpicks. And it was about 10 years ago, I guess. It was the last time I had the flu. And I had a temperature of like 102, and I felt like total hell. But I'd been on the couch for 2 days or 3 days, and I was just so freaking bored. I just had to get up and do something, and I knew I had to do this voice acting. I thought, well, if I'm sick as a dog, it might, you know, really inform the performance, because Garrett's supposed to feel like he's left for dead anyway. So I was coughing and hacking and all that stuff you hear in there. None of that was forced or anything. It was just me, you know, being really, really sick. Mr. Tibbetts, Jason, of course, guy who runs Thief missions. Frobber, everybody knows who Frobber is. B.A., Renda Halley, whatever. That's chandelier spelled backwards. So Mr. Smith, Peter Smith, our resident ghost master, and all-around good beta tester, good guy. John D., who I liked the sky in one of his missions, so I got in there and I ripped the numbers that made the sky, that nice midnight blue color. Mr. Huso, of course, Pura, and Mr. Todd, I guess he's the keeper of the Insane Asylum, TTLG, Digital Nightfall. Mr. Seibel, Shadow Spawn, okay, and Linda Walker, of course, Nightwalker. So, some Taffers get mentioned. And there's another thing over here. Oh yeah, just notes from S. Fox, the proprietor. You can pause. In case you feel like reading that. We won't go through all of that. Now here, there are tunnels in this mission. They're just there to connect stuff, and there's like no logical sense there's no logical sense or rhyme or reason. I mean, maybe this one a little bit because it connects the bar, S. Fox's bar, to S. Fox's house, but who would pay to have all this done just so you didn't have to walk across the quad and get your head wet. And then there's a box, box falls there. And then of course alerts the guard upstairs if you haven't knocked him out yet. And so hey, sometimes these things happen in missions, but still, just some of these design decisions. What was I thinking anyway? And I can't remember if there's a key to this door, or if you just have to pick it. Yeah, I think I had put a key in this. At one point I had a key in here to open it, but then I decided to remove it for some reason. I don't know. Or maybe it's one of those new dark things. Maybe the key's missing on it, but yeah, there we go. We can pick the lock and get out of here. So, and we can climb up here. And this is kind of how I envisioned you sneaking over to the other side of the mission, because Fletcher's over on. We got to follow this path to find Fletcher, and I think you had to plant a rope arrow and do some convoluted jump. I think with New Dark, you can now mantle that, but I think in Old Dark, you couldn't mantle that, or at least it was practically impossible. So, again, I made this just too hard on the player, but this is what we designers do. Sometimes we think we have it covered and we don't. And I mean, I was 3/4 of the way through this mission before I even learned how to align textures. So when you see how those rugs are like that, you got to take it, and you have to make sure the texture goes just where it's supposed to go. I didn't even know you could do that when I was building this thing. So you notice there's a distinct lack of textures that aren't just stone or wood or stuff that tiles, where you don't really have to worry about aligning it too much and it still doesn't look too bad. But things like these rugs, you'd have to know how to align the textures to get them to look right. And when I first started building, I was following Comag's tutorial, which of course was excellent and is probably responsible for more fan missions, than anybody, just because he wrote a tut, that allowed us to figure out what the heck we were doing. But I thought for some reason you couldn't move the textures. You had to build the world to fit the textures. So, and I was thinking, how do people build these beautiful things, and just because you got to plan where the building goes, or the windows won't be in the right spot. I just didn't know you could slide the texture on the face of the wall and put align it up and down, left and right, whichever way you wanted. So yeah, I was just I just didn't know. So see if I can whack this guy on the head. Yeah. So anyway, so Fletcher's in this building here. There's at some point in the mission you find a clue that there's an X marking the building that he's in. So I don't know where that is. I think I remember putting a clue there. And I put some moss down here, because then I'm going to... All right, there's many ways you can go about getting in here and killing Fletcher, but I find it, the one I'm written ready to show you, the most satisfying. Or at least this is what I had in mind when I built the thing. And of course I locked the shutters. Like, why did I lock the shutters? I mean, do they really need to be locked? Again, designers, sometimes think before you lock a door, and think about how long it takes to pick the thing, because if there's no danger of being caught, then there really isn't any point to having the door locked, especially if I can lockpick it, because I'm just going to get through it anyway, and the only thing it does is slow the player down. So, so it's okay to have locked doors, but, locks, you know, that take, you know, 30 or 40 seconds to open, and then there's a hammer in the chest. Oh yeah, thanks a lot. Ha ha ha, very funny. You know. So, oh, hit the button, didn't mean to do that. Anyway, so you go up here, and the whole point is you want to snipe at him from across the way. Just seems a little more sneaky and thiefy that way. But I also like to hit him with a gas arrow and then drown him later. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. There we go. So that's Fletcher all knocked out. And his pal Tommy downstairs, and he doesn't even know what's happened. So we head back down here. And again, too, you know, the door opens. Now you can't get out. This is kind of stuff I was just, you know, why didn't I make the door open the other way? Probably because I didn't know how to rotate the door or something. You know, like you see like this. You see the shutters. You notice how the hinges aren't aligned correctly. One's higher than the other. It's because you got to flip the thing over and orient it the other way around to get it. Oh, it's a whole thing, and I just didn't know. I didn't know anything about all that. So anyway, so I climb up here. And we'll get old Fletcher. I think he's got a little loot in here we can find. Yeah. So you can also like blast him with fire arrows, but then the loot goes flying in all directions, and I think it even gets to the point where if you hit it just right, it gets blown into solid space, and you can't even find it. So I swear I've blown him up with fire arrows before and gone up there and go, "Where's the purse?" or "Where's the gold nugget?" And it's like it's gone. So. But anyway, in there it's just got a little man. There's some loot underneath a counter. I think he's like the green grocer or something. Yeah, and this is Seer Kosh's little I don't know what you call it, his office, or his, you know, it's where reads the future. You know, you come see him and then get your palm read or something like that. I got the idea from Purra's Most Excellent Midnight in Merkbell. He had a in a room where you had to bust open the guy's door, but then, you know, there's a note from him saying, you know, I knew you would come, so, Mr. Ginga, please help yourself, Seer Kosh. So that's where I got this idea from. And I did it in unfinished business, another mission I did a similar thing too, you know, where the Seer knows you're coming, but, you know, he leaves you some refreshment and asks you, you know, to please not steal anything. Of course, he's taking all his valuables away. So anyway, is there a guy still standing out here? Okay, I don't know where he went. Where did I blackjack him? I scared him away when I opened that trap door and the box fell on my head. Whatever. So, and there's more stuff down here. It's basically just apartments and things. This, as I recall, this one wasn't too badly done. You know, you can tell this probably got done later in the mission, because you can see, ooh, you know, we put in little wedges, you know, to give the ceiling a little more shape instead of just everything being boxes. And and there's one hard to find piece of loot I remember. That I think there's a little gold ring somewhere. Is it in here? Yeah, there it is. There's like, I think like some 6,000 in loot in here, and about 2,000 or 3,000 of it that is really difficult to find. And I've actually never found all of the loot myself. I come up short. You know, back when I knew this mission backwards and forwards when I was building it, even when I was building it, I somehow lost track of like 10 or 20 in loot, and I've never been able to find it. I don't think anybody else has ever found it either.
What's that over there?
So who knows? It might just be buried in solid space somewhere, unavailable. But you know, whatever. But I made the loot totals, even on expert, pretty low compared to the total amount of loot found, because nothing I hate worse than, you know, trying to scour a mission for 20 minutes trying to find that last, 20 in loot so I can end the mission. So, so that's another thing to you authors, don't make your loot, if I need to find like 95% of the loot in the mission to win the mission, that's just too much, Sometimes I feel like looking under every leaf, every rock. Sometimes I don't, and really, since you pretty much can't spend money you earn in a fan mission, what's the point? So I think, loot goals in fan missions are actually kind of ridiculous now that I think about it. So anyway, I'm going to go into the Glowing Mushroom pub here. And you don't want to go in the front door because that guy is obviously guarding it. But if we come around here, oh yeah, we can Take some light out. Come in here quietly. Now this, I remember this wall here, this bit, got put in here. I was having frame rate issues for some reason in this room. God knows why, because it's just a box. But that wall there is basically, it was to improve the frame rate in this area. So it looks kind of stupid, but you know, sometimes that's what you got to do to make things work better. I remember there's a purse back here, and like, oh my God, I mean, look at these benches. I mean, just that's awful. You know, flowers are nice though, but you know, just now there's this bit up here. I recall it turned out there's a few areas in the mission that kind of turned out pretty nice, and I thought for a first mission this wasn't too bad. So I learned how to align textures, and I got these stairs done right. Now, the carpet, as you know, why did I have so many small ones? I should have scaled that up. I shouldn't have so many small ones here. Should have done something better with the carpet, but you know, it wasn't too bad. Little statues, everything lit up, so like a nice little bright sitting area. So, oh, anyway. And so we go back here, and this is sort of the behind the bar area. And I think this is just like a recipe. Yeah, Linda's recipes. Linda being Nightwalker, barbecue deer legs, blah blah blah. You know, just don't read the whole book. Kitchen area, again. Yeah, probably more. Yeah, more torches. You know, just stuffed in. Little cheesy wedges. I put, yeah, okay, yeah, a little loot. So if you look careful, you find some stuff. And then the office is over here. Now in here, this was where you found some information about Barlett, because this is Cooper Barlett's bar. And of course, Cooper being the last name of a friend of mine, and Barlett being another last name of a friend of mine, two diehard video game guys that were into first-person shooters well before Thief ever came out. And one of them, Barlett, was the guy who told me, you know, dude, you've got to play Thief. And so he's the reason I went to pick up the game in the first place. If he'd never said anything, I'd have never picked up this game. I probably never would have played a video game in my life, or at least seriously. So you can thank Barlett and Cooper for that. So the glowing mushroom. Okay, downstairs booth reserved for Officer Benny. Has a date. Have Susie put more honey in the mead. So you can read these if you want. Just anyway, takes a lot of time. But now here's one of the keys of the mission, because you're trying to find out whether Barlett gave the order to have me done in. And of course, there you go. Did Barlett tell Fletcher to kill you? Find out for sure. And now, of course, Diary of Cooper Barlett. Went to the town museum today. My such treasures. And this is the whole bit about the coin collection. And that's what you were supposed to steal. And that's what you got double-crossed for. So, obviously, pause and read if you like. But that tells you conclusively that Barlett definitely gave the order to have you done in. And, of course, that leads to the sequel to this mission, Unfinished Business, where you actually go and get your revenge on him. Now, down here... Now, when I was talking earlier about connecting tunnels and shit. Sorry. Trying not to curse in these. But, this is one of those... This is one of those things.
What the hell? We'll see blood!
Oh, shit.
Quick! Some tappers in here!
Oh, boy. So anyway, okay, here's this long-ass tunnel. It was many things during the development of this mission. Come on. There we go. Oh, man, really? There we go. So this whole area was many things. It was a sewer type thing, and then I decided to connect it to the glowing mushroom, which has a casino. Right back here, I think there's some people in here. Yeah, this room at one point was a huge underground area with a lake and frog beasts hopping about and whatnot. It was sort of like, you know, like a sewer wall had collapsed, and there's just this underground cavern and everything. I just turned it into a sitting room because I figured, okay, well, this is like the underground area, like, you know, the casino, and who knows, you know, there's references to prostitution down here and stuff like that. So this whole thing just went through many many, many things. There's a drunk guy. I think there's some loot in there. And then we'll finish up, wrap this part of the video up. We'll go in this room. And I think there's a, as I recall, there's a book down here. Yeah, I really like coming down here. Yeah, they're rich and powerful gentlemen who appreciate the favors of a woman such as myself. She's the one in the red dress that I just whacked. My husband is not as loving and caring man, but he lacks certain skills. And I've got my eye on one man in particular, Alderman Ramsey. Of course, that's a reference to Comag, whose last name is Ramsey. He's supposed to meet me here tonight. Blah blah blah. And you can finish reading that if you like. But so yeah, there's prostitution and gambling and all that kind of stuff going on. So. You know, typical thief mission, you know, lowbrow kind of things going on. So, okay, we'll explore some more later, but this is getting pretty long, and so we'll cut it off for now. Let me quick save, and so that's it. We'll back with part 2. I don't know when, but, you know, when it's up, you'll see it. Thanks for watching. This is Slyfox signing off.